Think about the average person you see every single day in your neighborhood. They drive a shiny late-model car and live in a quiet suburban area with a perfectly manicured lawn. On the outside, they look like the absolute picture of financial success and stability. Maybe they even have a total net worth of $200,000 or even $500,000 on paper. But behind those heavy front doors, there is a much different and darker story being told. It is a story of quiet anxiety, hidden stress, and far too many sleepless nights. It is the strange and painful feeling of being rich on a spreadsheet, but struggling to pay for a surprise dental bill. In this year of 2026, the gap between what we own and what we can actually spend has never been wider. We are living in an era where the cost of existence is climbing faster than our ability to save. Today, we are going to perform a deep and necessary surgery on the numbers that the mainstream media loves to throw around. We are going to look far past the flashy headlines and uncover the harsh truth about why $200,000 can feel like nothing in today's economy. More importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to stop being trapped by your own assets and start finding real financial peace. I want to help you transition from the fear of running out to the confidence of moving forward. Before we go any deeper into these complex numbers, I want to ask you for a small and simple favor. If you find real value in these honest and direct conversations, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. It helps this message reach more people who are struggling with the exact same questions you have. Also, please take a moment to leave a comment below telling me your current age and your biggest financial goal for this year. I read every single one of those comments, and they help me create much better content for your specific needs. Your feedback is the compass that guides this journey we are on together. Now, let's look at the cold reality of the modern American household. That sounds like a decent safety net at first glance, does it not? But there is a massive and deceptive catch that almost no one in the financial industry talks about. That number is a midpoint, which means half of the country has more and the other half has much less. But even for those standing exactly at the midpoint, the money is not where you think it is. It is frozen in the wood, the bricks, and the heavy mortar of your primary home. It is hidden in the 401k plan that you cannot access without paying a massive penalty to the government. It is parked in the depreciating car sitting in your driveway that loses value every time the sun rises. When you strip all of that away, the typical household is left with a shockingly small amount of actual cash. You are paper rich, but you are cash poor. Imagine trying to pay for a week of groceries with a piece of your kitchen cabinet or a brick from your chimney. You simply cannot do it. You cannot use the drywall in your guest room to buy the life-saving medication you need. And yet, we spend our entire lives working to increase a number that does not actually help us on a Tuesday morning at the supermarket. The biggest problem for those of us between the ages of 50 and 70 is what I call the home equity trap. We were told by our parents and our teachers that our home is our greatest and most reliable investment. But in 2026, a home is often a hungry and angry mouth that refuses to stop eating your income. Property taxes are climbing every year as local governments struggle with their own budgets. Homeowners' insurance premiums are skyrocketing to levels we have never seen before. And the cost of basic maintenance has nearly doubled in just the last few years. If 70% of your wealth is tied up in your primary residence, you do not own that home anymore. The home actually owns your future and your freedom. You are living in a high-value asset while your daily quality of life suffers and declines. This is the psychological weight that keeps so many good people awake in the middle of the night. You feel like you should be comfortable and relaxed, but the reality of your bank account tells a much different story. It creates a cognitive dissonance that leads to chronic stress and a lack of joy. Furthermore, we must address the emotional burden of the modern retirement age. For many of you, you are also part of the sandwich generation. You are caring for aging parents while simultaneously trying to help your adult children navigate an economy that is stacked against them. You might feel the urge to dip into your savings to help a grandchild with college or a son with a down payment. But every dollar you pull from your future is a dollar that cannot compound for your own survival. It is a noble desire to leave a legacy, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your financial oxygen mask must be secured first before you can truly help those you love. Now let's talk about the famous and often misunderstood 4% rule. Financial advisors have told us for decades that you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio every single year. If you have $200,000 in your retirement accounts, that rule gives you exactly $8,000 a year. That breaks down to less than $670 every month. In today's world of 2026, $670 might barely cover your basic utility bills. It is certainly not enough to live the life of luxury, travel, and leisure that the television commercials promised you. This is the exact moment where the dream of a golden retirement meets the cold and hard wall of reality. We must also look at the massive tax time bomb hiding in your retirement accounts. Most people see a balance of $500,000 in their 401k and think they have $500,000. But you are actually in a business partnership with the IRS, and they are a partner who can change the rules of the game at any moment. When you start taking mandatory distributions, a significant portion of that money belongs to the government. If you are in a high tax bracket, you might only actually possess 60 or 70% of what is on your screen. If you have not planned for the taxman's share, your retirement could be much shorter than you anticipated. And it gets even more complicated and dangerous when we look at the silent killers of wealth. Taxes and medical inflation are the two biggest and most immediate threats to your peace of mind. Even if you have managed to save $1 million, the government is waiting to take their massive share. The moment you try to spend that money to enjoy your life, the taxman is there with his hand out. And as we naturally age, our bodies become like a vintage car that requires more and more specialized and expensive care. A single major health event can wipe out 20 or 30 years of diligent saving in just a few short months. The average couple retiring today will need over $300,000 just for medical expenses. That number does not even include the possibility of long-term care in a specialized facility. It is like a vulnerable pimple on the face of your financial plan, waiting to pop at the most inconvenient time. But I am not telling you all of this today to make you feel hopeless or defeated. I am telling you this because you cannot fix a problem if you refuse to look at it with total clarity. The truth is that the first $100,000 is the hardest and most painful part of the journey. It is slow, it is grueling, and it feels like you are pushing a giant boulder up a steep mountain. But there is a tipping point that most people never stay long enough to actually see. Once you cross that threshold of momentum, the math starts to work for you instead of against you. This is what we call the glorious snowball effect of compounding interest. When you have $500,000 invested, a simple 10% return gives you $50,000 in a single year. That is an entire annual salary earned while you were sleeping or playing with your grandchildren in the park. Consider the psychological shift that happens when your money starts earning more than you do at your job. It is a moment of profound realization. You realize that you are no longer the primary engine of your wealth. Your capital has taken over the heavy lifting. This is the point where the fear of the future begins to dissolve into a sense of true security. The jump from $1 million to $2 million happens much faster than the jump from 0 to 100,000. But most people give up and walk away right before the real magic starts to happen. They get frustrated by the slow and boring start, and they decide to spend the money on a new truck or a luxury vacation. They trade their long-term future freedom for a temporary and fleeting thrill today. If you are currently in your 50s or 60s, you might think it is far too late for you to change. But the data shows that real wealth building actually accelerates after the age of 50. This is the time when your income is usually at its peak and your major debts are starting to disappear. You have the advantage of experience and the wisdom to avoid the reckless mistakes of youth. The key to your success is to change your focus from total net worth to actual and reliable cash flow. Instead of asking how much you are worth on paper, you should be asking how much income your assets produce every month. One of the most powerful and effective moves you can make right now is to look at downsizing your lifestyle. If you are living in a large 4-bedroom house, but only using 2 of those rooms, you are wasting your money. You are paying to heat, cool, and protect space that you simply do not need or use anymore. Moving to a smaller and more efficient home could unlock hundreds of thousands of dollars in hidden cash. That cash can then be put into investments that actually pay you a check every single month. Furthermore, we must talk about the power of asset reallocation. Many of you are holding onto old stocks or funds that worked 10 years ago, but are stagnant today. You must be willing to prune your financial garden just as you would prune a fruit tree. Get rid of the dead weight and move your capital into areas that provide consistent and growing income. Whether that is dividend growth stocks, high-yield bonds, or real estate investment trusts, you need your money to be active. Another critical and often ignored strategy is the optimization of your Social Security benefits. Many people rush to claim their benefits at age 62 because they are afraid the money will run out. But for every year you wait until age 70, your monthly check grows significantly and permanently. Waiting those extra years is often the best and safest investment return you will ever find in your life. It is a guaranteed and inflation-adjusted pay raise that lasts for as long as you live. And while you wait, you can use part-time work or a small business to bridge the gap. In 2026, the gig economy is not just for the youth. Many retirees are finding deep fulfillment and extra income by consulting or turning a lifelong hobby into a side business. This extra $1,000 a month can be the difference between a life of restriction and a life of abundance. Think of your financial life like a garden that you are tending to every day. In the beginning, you are just digging in the hard dirt and planting tiny seeds. You get tired, your back hurts, and you see nothing but brown earth for a very long time. But if you keep watering those seeds and pulling the weeds, eventually the small sprouts appear. And then, one day, the garden begins to feed you and your family for years to come. The mistake most people make is that they stop watering the garden because they are hungry for a snack today. They dig up the seeds before they have a chance to grow into something beautiful and strong. In this year of 2026, we have to be smarter and more disciplined than the generations before us. We have to realize that looking wealthy is not the same thing as being truly free. True wealth is the ability to wake up in the morning and decide exactly how you want to spend your precious time. It is the deep peace of mind that comes from knowing your bills are covered, no matter what happens in the world. It is the ultimate freedom to say no to things and people that do not bring you genuine joy. We must also reconsider our relationship with material possessions. The car you drive and the clothes you wear are simply tools, not reflections of your worth. In a world that is obsessed with consumption, the most radical act you can perform is to be content with enough. Contentment is a superpower that protects your wealth more effectively than any investment strategy ever could. When you no longer feel the need to impress strangers, you find that your bank account begins to grow almost effortlessly. As we move toward the end of our important conversation today, I want to remind you of the most vital lesson. Do not let the big and scary numbers on the news intimidate you or make you freeze. The headlines are designed to keep you in a state of constant fear and reaction, but you have the power to step away from the noise and focus on your own personal economy. You do not need to be a billionaire or a celebrity to be happy and secure. You just need a plan that focuses on the reality of your life instead of the appearances for your neighbors. Focus on your liquid assets and your ability to generate cash when you need it most. Protect your health with the same intensity that you protect your bank account. Remember that health is the ultimate wealth, and no amount of money can buy back a wasted body. Eat well, move your body, and nurture your spirit with the same discipline you apply to your 401k. And never stop learning about how money actually works in this new and changing economy. The world of 2026 is different than the world of 2016, and you must adapt to thrive. If you have stayed with me this long, it shows me that you are serious about your future and your family. I want to encourage you to take one small and meaningful action today. Do not just listen to these words, but put them into practice in your own life. Look at your bank statement and identify one recurring expense that does not add any real value to your life. Cancel that expense right now and move that money into an investment account immediately. It might only be $50, but every giant oak tree in the forest started as a tiny acorn. Before you go, if you haven't already, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep bringing you these deep dives into the reality of finance. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single lesson. We have many more strategies and truths to share in the coming weeks. And please do not forget to leave that comment with your age and your specific goal. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in the very next video. Thank you for your time and for trusting me to be a part of your financial journey. Remember that your best and most peaceful days are still ahead of you if you have the courage to face the truth. Stay focused on your goals, stay disciplined in your habits, and stay free in your life. I will see you very soon.